Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, Chapter 56. When we last left our heroes, Kurama died. That's what we opened with Kurama explaining the Baryon mode was only ever going to kill Kurama and not Naruto. And so Kurama and Naruto have one more last farewell, and Naruto is left without a tailed beast, leaving both Naruto and Sasuke seriously nerfed as a result of this arc. Meanwhile, a last remnant of Ishiki's soul goes to visit Code, and we learn that Code was the original vessel candidate before Kawaki showed up and kind of upstaged him. And that if Code completes the God Tree ritual and then consumes the chakra fruit, he can become an Otsutsuki and carry on Ishiki's legacy, which is his current goal. And then we had the gang, Boruto had to kind of get past a mental block to activate the space-time ninjutsu to allow the gang to head back to the main dimension due to his panic over the potential reappearance of Momoshiki. There was a little bit of attention paid to how invested in Kawaki Amado was, which I think is a little bit suspicious. And yeah, that's kind of everything going into Chapter 56, Code. So that's what this chapter is going to be about. Our cover picture, though, is Sumire. In front of like a pink, sort of floral almost background. She's just kind of looking behind her. It's just a picture. Anyway, we open with a shot of Hokage Rock as someone says, Now, modesty does not become you. It was your cleverness that kept the damage to our village minimal, wasn't it? Which means basically it was you who... which basically makes you the one who saved the village. And I don't recognize that guy at all, but he's talking to Boruto. It really wasn't all that, you know? In fact, I was passed out most of the... yeah, he was kind of... I think it's like an interview or something. Yeah, because it looks like some kind of, like, talk show. And then the interviewer asks, and what's it called again? That awesome jutsu of yours that swooped down and swallowed that notorious Otsutsuki whole? There are actually quite a large number of people who witnessed it happen. Oh, that? That's the... And Boruto just thinks, I wish this were over already. That's the Karma, right? It was Karma that did that. And is Karma classified? Is Boruto allowed to tell them about Karma? I don't know. Anyway, somewhere else, Amado is giving Kawaki a checkup, along with Katasuke and Sumire. And Amado looks at the former, Karma'd arm. Not bad at all. How about the rest of you? Any points of concern this last week? Kawaki looks at his hand. Not really. It feels just like my old hand. That's the arm that he lost a long time ago. Not the Karma'd hand, but the one that with Naruto's prosthetic. Did killing Ishiki do that? It feels just like my old hand. And then Katasuke looks at him. I'm speechless. I didn't expect him to regain his hand so quickly, and without any sign of rejection. Okay, was there was the Naruto prosthetic sort of a placeholder until they can get him a real prosthetic? I don't quite remember that plot line exactly, but Amado says, of course not. There wouldn't be, as it's a genuine article engineered from his own cells. Just one of the spare parts I'd made before coming here. This wouldn't be possible if he were an ordinary human. And his whole body not a scientific ninja tool. That scientific ninja tool plotline is one of the things I'd kind of forgotten about until the anime brought it back. But Sumire says, sorry, Kawaki, this is going to sting a bit. And then she's put out a syringe of some kind. Kawaki says, you know I'm not a snot-nosed brat. You don't need to keep saying stuff. Just do whatever you need to do. Oh, sorry. So last week's anime episode set up a parallel between Sumire and Kawaki. That I'm really curious how that's going to impact their relationship, either going forward in the manga, or at least when the anime gets this far, however long that takes from now. But I'm going to keep my eyes on that. Anyway, Amado says, can the attitude, Kawaki. Show some gratitude toward your caretaker. Sumire's brilliant and a quick learner. I'll be in a world of trouble if you chase her off. Kawaki glares at him. What's with your attitude, Amado? Acting all bossy and having an assistant? Isn't Sumire one of Dr. Katasuke's staff? Why is she with you? But Katasuke is there. That might be why. And he says, thank you, Kawaki, but this is what Sumire herself wanted. We were all at a loss when it came to treating your body. It'll be good to have another member on your care team. Important to note is that it was Sumire who was noting last month that Amado was acting a little odd. So we'll see what all comes of that. But Kawaki looks over at Sumire. I still only know the basics, but you can rest assured from here on out. Of course, avoiding injury would help too. Besides, you're always hanging out with Boruto, so I can ask you about him too. That's an oddly romantic line. Kawaki notes that. Wait a sec. Do you like Boruto or something? And she starts to panic. Kawaki, just don't say it so bluntly. Let's keep it our little secret, okay? Katasuke laughs and thinks, though it's so very obvious. Kawaki just kind of puts his coat on. Whatever. It's no matter to me, so long as you're able to do your job. Amado looks at him. Excellent progress. I don't anticipate any big problems with your hand, but don't shirk the routine maintenance. Come back next week. Yeah. Can I go now? One thing just kind of popped into my mind. What are we going to do about Koji? 'Cause I don't remember. Wasn't the video feed cut off by the time Koji escaped? So, like, is Koji gonna... So, I don't think Amado knows Koji is alive. Is Koji just gonna, like, pop up one day? Be like, hey, Dad, it me. Anyway, Amado takes another drag of his cigarette and then says, Kawaki. And Kawaki turns back, and Sumire also listens in, which makes this a callback to last chapter. And then Amado stops himself. No, never mind. Let's do it next time. Kawaki pauses for a minute, and then just kind of questioningly, and then says, whatever. And Sumire, again, looks at Amado, or Kawaki, one of them, but concerned over what exactly is going on with Amado. Anyway, the interviewer, back with Boruto. Unfortunately, it appears we are out of time. Everyone, please give another round of applause to the tiny but mighty hero who saved our village, Uzumaki Boruto. And as the audience claps, Boruto kind of like shakes his head. Aw, shucks. And then we see Sarada on the couch watching TV. Geez, really, Boruto? Acting all moonstruck? And Shikadai is also there. Cut him some slack, Sarada. He's putting on a brave face, but he's more depressed than any of us. And Sarada's kind of silent, and we see it's all of... Are Ino Shikacho still Team 10 in this generation? But it's Team 10 and the rest of Team 7, all sitting on the couch. And I think that's all Shikadai here. They're keeping the stuff about his karma They're keeping the stuff about karma and his rampage under wraps to avoid causing mass panic. And he can't go on missions because it's too dangerous. He's being secretly watched around the clock. Pretty unbearable if you ask me. And Sarada still complains, yeah, but the no missions rule is applying to us too. We don't have a 3-man cell without him, so Team 7 is on indefinite hiatus. And Shikadai responds, yeah, that was my dad's decision. Could this hero treatment and parading him in front of the media be his way of making it up to him? It's so insulting. And Chocho... Chocho just kind of questions how, why, to not have to go on a mission and be on TV instead rocks. And Inojin just looks at her. How can you say such a thing in this company? This is why, Chubbs. And Chocho goes on the attack. What? What's my weight got to do with it? And then Sarada kind of ignores them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming Boruto or anything, but it's just hard to come to grips with, that's all. What's going to happen next? And Mitsuki responds, well, at least in regard to Boruto's karma, they can't just sit around and do nothing. They're going to need to be proactive. Maybe Master Shikamaru has an idea or two? And Shikadai looks at him. One would hope. I do really like having a moment to just, like, kind of debrief with the rest of the Genin who are kind of left out of the whole Ishiki arc. But anyway, I thought that would be a cut to Shikamaru, but it's actually cut to Boruto, hanging out on Naruto's Hokage monument. Just like sitting on Naruto's hair spike, which I really like. And he just stares out, and he looks down, and 2 girls are calling for him. Look, it's Boruto! He's so cute! And Boruto kind of waves at them, and realizes he's waving with his karma hand. And he pulls it down real fast. Oops. Then he looks at them, and just then someone else arrives. What a huge bother, this whole celebrity thing. And we see it's Kawaki on another part of Naruto's hair. And Boruto asks, "What? Go away if you're just gonna poke fun at me." And then Kawaki sits down and continues, "I'm surprised. I thought you'd be a bit more glum. About karma? Nah, it was over it a long time ago. It's just, I don't know how to act or what I should be trying to do about it." And Kawaki kind of sits there and says, "Based on what we've learned so far, both of our bodies are about 80% Otsutsuki-fied already. And for you in particular, the Otsutsuki data is still continuing to extract itself from your karma." And that's kind of an important thing, though. As I kind of mentioned before, it took Kawaki, I think, like years to reach 80%. And Boruto has had Momo's karma for about, maybe for pushing it 6 months, probably less. I mean, with all of the anime-only adventures in the middle there, 6 months would fit a little better, but not a long time at all compared to Kawaki. So, like, he's running out of time real fast. Boruto's kind of is silent as Kawaki continues, "And when that's completed, the moment you finish becoming Momoshiki's vessel, you, Boruto, will disappear somewhere, and that bastard will supposedly resurrect in your body." And Boruto's sitting there like, "Yeah, I know all this." As he looks down at his karma, "It really sucks. I feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare." And Kawaki looks at him and then looks away. "I thought of something that you could try doing." And Boruto looks up at him. "Why not prepare your own vessel by giving someone else a karma?" Okay. That seems incredibly amoral. It would require killing someone. And even then, maybe, like, if Boruto's data, so to speak, is already so Otsutsuki-fied, wouldn't the Boruto karma just kind of Otsutsuki-fied or wouldn't that person just already be mostly Momoshiki at this point? I mean, maybe that works. It's a crazy theory, as Kawaki says, but still. And Boruto looks at him. "My own vessel? Mind you, this is only a hypothesis that I just came up with, but if Momoshiki resurrects and you end up disappearing, if you had your own vessel somewhere, maybe you could also use it to reincarnate." And Boruto does not react positively to that. "That's one crazy theory. Besides, if I'm gonna give karma and make a vessel, that means I have to sacrifice someone else, right? No way, man." And Kawaki tells him, "Don't worry about that. I've got someone in mind already. Someone who'd be perfect." And Boruto looks at him. "His name is Code. The only other guy to have survived Jigen's ritual." Okay. That's an interesting proposition. And speaking of, we check in on Code, who is off in some snow dimension, or some snow part of the main dimension, for some kind of a mission. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. It looks like there's like a bunker in that little cliff head, maybe, that he's headed to. Maybe. I don't think that's the Kara main base, but it might be like a sub base or something. And then we cut to Naruto and Amado. And Naruto says, "Code, what sort of person is he?" And Amado says he's the last Kara inner left. Which is weird, because Amado revived Delta himself. Like, Delta should still be kicking. There were a whole bunch of Delta bodies last time we saw her. Unless I'm completely missing something. Maybe a very quick, wiki search will tell me if she's somehow dead. But I don't think she's dead. Status incapacitated. But I think the last time we saw her, she had a new body, right? Unless the body wasn't completed? Okay, so here's the thing in the wiki that I'd completely forgotten. She discovered Koji and Amado attempting to leave without Jigen's permission and tried to stop them, but was knocked out by a shutdown command issued by Amado. So she could just be like if Amado's the only one able to revive her, that might be it for her. Though I can't imagine Code being unable to fix that somehow. It's just kind of a really lame death. But anyway, There are still outers, those who do external contract work for Kara out there in various regions, but once all the inners are gone, they'll essentially cease to function. And Shikamaru picks that up. So he's Kara's lone surviving officer. If we can get rid of him, and Amano continues, in addition, Code was entrusted with guarding Ten Tails in that secure hideout in the other dimensional space. After Sasuke infiltrated it, they went on high alert. I probably don't need to tell you, but Ten Tails is a dangerous presence. As long as it continues to exist, so too does the danger of the planet getting wiped out by a divine tree. It must be dealt with as soon as possible. But Shikamaru counters, and yet, Sasuke's space-time ninjutsu has been disabled along with his eye. And Boruto can't really control his powers, so even if you got there, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to return safely. And Naruto responds, this Code. He's able to travel freely to and from that space? Of course. He doesn't have space-time ninjutsu, but there are other abilities that make it possible. Naruto responds, in which case, we need to do something about Code, before Ten Tails gets misused. Shikamaru responds, that's sound, because once Code is out of the way, we can take our time to decide how to dispose of Ten Tails. And Amano takes a drag on his cigarette. You're wrong. You're not wrong, but be careful. Don't underestimate him. Code isn't like the others. He's special. In a way beyond just having gone through Jigen's ritual. But we see Code has arrived at that base earlier, and a bearded man in like snow goggles is guarding the entrance. And Code walks up, shivering, and the two men say, or there's another man there, but the bearded one says, "Who are you? Do you know where you are?" And Code says, "This is Boro's cult facility, right? I'm an acquaintance of his. Could you just let me inside?" Did Boro run a cult? That seems like some new information about him, but okay. And Goggles, bearded man says, "Sorry, but Lord Boro ain't here, so go run home." Stupid. Then again, you'd have to be dumb to be gatekeepers in this freaking freezing backcountry. And we see Code's like cloak billows up, and we see his like fingers are all knives, like something out of Parasite. And the guard yells, "Halt! This is your last warning." Yeah, before you die. And then we cut back to Boruto and Kawaki. As Boruto asks, "Jigen's ritual? What do you mean? Remember what I told you about when I was first brought to Kara?" And Boruto flashes back to what Kawaki had said about being like stuffed in a little bag there. "Oh, that. It's a ritual to screen out Tsuki vessel candidates. Lots of kids are given karma, and those who weren't compatible have seizures and die. There were only 2 of us left when it came to my turn. I managed to survive Jigen giving me karma. I turned out to be compatible." And we have this like image of the karma initially spreading over his body. And Boruto looks at him. "Like I mentioned before, I passed out at that point and was moved somewhere else. So I didn't see what happened afterwards, but apparently Jigen gave the last kid karma also. But it failed. Just like the other kids that died, his body started to shake and spasm. He wasn't able to become a vessel." And then Kawaki continues, "Except, for whatever reason, he didn't die. He survived, just like me. He was compatible with karma." And we see the white karma, specifically. And so I think Kawaki's kind of wrong here, given what we learned last chapter, that the karma did not actually work on Code. He was unable to become a vessel. And so I don't think a potential Boruto karma would actually work on Code. But Kawaki does not know that. Speaking of Code, we're back with him and the guards, as he's like ready his claw hands to fight. And he starts to run towards the guards. The bearded guard reveals his arm is a machine gun or something, for jutsu bullets, I guess. Both guards start shooting bullets at Code, and he readies his hands, and it looks like he slashes through them. With something that looks, hold on. So Code this whole time has had this sort of like strip down his face. And we see with like circles in the middle of it. And we see a similar design to his little face strip spread out with him. And it seems to like like cross behind the guards, and the bullets go for Code, and he disappears. He vanished? Hey, what are these black bands? And Code emerges from one of the black bands. I guess he can, like, teleport wherever they are. And the other guard notes, hey, behind you! And Code just sticks his whole hand up the bearded guy's chest. The other guard shoots, and Code uses his fellow guard as a shield and throws the corpse at the other guard. And then he, like, raises his hand again. And he just kind of... Oh, one of the bands is across the other guard's chest. And we see Code's hand emerges from the bands. He's stuck his hand in one of the bands on the floor. And Code tells him, you've worked so hard. You can rest now. No, don't! And then... Oh, so that first move didn't actually kill him. Because the hand just emerged from the band, didn't actually touch him. But one of the fingers slices the guy's throat, and he bleeds out. And then Code, like, returns his hands back to normal, and kind of, like, feels his face. Moving around has warmed me up a bit, but it's still pretty cold. Let's get inside. And then we come back to the adults, Shikamaru, Amado, and Naruto. And Shikamaru says he can't be used as a vessel, but the karma remained? That's possible? It's certainly a rare case, but that's what happened. He survived, and as a result, his body retains karma's aspect of being a weapon. So yeah, he has sort of the karma weaponry, but not vesselhood, like I was saying. And I don't think Kawaki knows that. Amado would, because he was kind of responsible for those experiments. But I don't think Amado is aware, or Kawaki is aware. And Naruto says, we don't know what makes someone compatible. Excuse me. So anything's possible when it comes to this. Exactly. There's still a lot we don't know about karma. And the reaction that took place in Code's body is especially astounding. His combat abilities exceeded even Jigen's. Okay. I'm assuming pre-Ishiki takeover. But Shikamaru looks at him. What? Almost every member of Kara has had their body remodeled in order to strengthen it. But it's the exact opposite in Code's case. He's had limiters put in to check his formidable strength, in order to avoid the undermining of Jigen's position as leader. Oh, I'm willing to bet that is what Code is doing at the facility. He's getting the limiters removed. But, so that would make him more powerful than base Jigen. Would that make him more powerful than Ishiki once he had possessed Jigen? Because we know that Jigen's form kind of limited Ishiki even after he reincarnated. But would that really do the same to, is Code's natural strength so great that it's even more than Ishiki? I don't know. And then Shikamaru says, in short, he let himself be weakened for Jigen? Is he sane? And Amado responds, Code was submissive to Jigen. He harbors a kind of religious devotion toward the Otsutsuki. Ishiki especially, he worships as a god. So Code bore strong adoration for Jigen, who had become an Otsutsuki. And for that reason, he nurses intense envy of Kawaki, who was chosen as Ishiki's legitimate vessel. That's how strong Code's feelings toward Otsutsuki are. Naruto looks at Amado. Actually, there were several cyborgs among those I had created that greatly surpassed Jigen's power, but they were all disposed of as per Jigen's orders. Oh, maybe that's what he's doing there. Getting these stronger than Jigen cyborgs. Though I can't imagine there were a whole army of cyborgs stronger than Ishiki. That seems like a stretch to me. And then Shikamaru says, Had you built them to take Jigen down? These cyborgs? Well, yes. It was after that, upon taking into account all sorts of scenarios, that I came up with Kashin Koji. But I digress. Oh, so these were kind of like a side dig. That he had some excuse for, but they were there to take down Ishiki. So they might actually be stronger than Ishiki. Though I wonder if anti-Ishiki-ness is in their programming. Anyway, Code, we get back to talking about Code. To sum it up, Code is an exception who escaped disposal due to his unwavering loyalty. He was Jigen's strong right-hand man. If he finds out Ishiki's been defeated, he will likely seek retribution. Naruto responds, then I'll be a target for sure. Worst case, Boruto too. And Amado, I've been marked since I betrayed Kara. Kawaki as well. Shikamaru responds, what about these limiters you installed in Code? He can't just turn them off with a thought, can he? No worries there. I'm the only one who can rescind them. Although, if he were to kidnap and torture me, you're in trouble. I'm not a pro like the two of you. I know I'll break pretty easily. And Shikamaru acknowledges, yeah, you're not really a ninja, you'll break. Gah, fine. We'll keep a close eye on you. Though also, maybe he just kind of gives that information to, kind of pressure them to protect him, to not kind of leave him up into Code's clutches. And then Naruto says, alright, for now, dealing with Code will be priority number 1. I want to share a chronology and intel with the other villages. Shikamaru, make the arrangements. It's Gokage Summit time. Okay, having another 5 Kage summits. That'll be fun. And then we come back to Naruto's monument. As Boruto is still sitting, looking at his karma, I never thought about implanting this in someone else. But now that you mention it, I feel like it's possible. And Kawaki continues, if we're supposed to become Otsutsuki, it would stand to reason that we could use their special moves in jutsu, like space-time ninjutsu. And Boruto responds, but this guy, Code, he already has karma, right? Is it even possible to give him a different karma? I have no idea, but at the very least, he survived being given karma. That's what's key. And honestly, this feels like, I get that Code is a bad dude and will try to, destroy the world if they don't stop him. But there's something that just feels wrong about taking over a guy's body. It's one of the things about the Otsutsuki that's so evil. And having Boruto do it, even with an out-and-out villain, still just feels a little iffy. Anyway, that's what's key. They were so easy for karma to stick. Jigen wouldn't have had so much trouble. So it makes sense to try someone who's already survived it once. Plus, he isn't anyone's vessel. For sure. But I'm feeling really reluctant about forcing this thing upon somebody. That's what I was kind of getting at. Kawaki just looks at him. You're kidding, right? You've got no choice unless you want to die. Excuse me. Let me tell you, Code is strong. Stronger than Delta and Boro, so far as I know. He's not the type of enemy you normally want to go up against. And Boruto looks back at Kawaki and stands up. Dad no longer has Kurama's power, so he won't be as strong as he used to be. Besides, we can't just keep depending on him forever. We gotta step up. I'm glad that Boruto is here directly calling out what I kind of pointed out last time, that the loss of Kurama works as a sort of, as a sort of natural way to allow the younger generation to step up, as an excuse for why not just let the all-powerful people handle everything. Sorry, that was my, phone alarm for my meds. Anyway, is an excuse to not just let the powerful people deal with everything and a way for the younger generation to kind of become the leads. Anyway, Boruto continues, I don't know how strong this Code is, but do you know, Kawaki, what we shinobi do in times like these? Kawaki looks at him. Huh? What are you talking about? And then Boruto gives a face of pure determination. We trade. Duh. Come on, let's go. So I guess it's about time for a training arc. Meanwhile, back at the facility, we see a man sort of sitting on a couch, and he notices Code's arrival, and Code tells him, Hey, Bug, my word, if it isn't Code, what are you doing here? On an errand for Jigen? And Code just tells him straight up, Jigen's dead. Likely Boro, too. And Bug reacts, Hey now, trouble's afoot, I see. What's happening? A lot. Things have gotten busy real sudden. By the way, how's Ada? And Bug just looked at him. What are you talking about? And Code responds, I'm pretty sure Boros secretly stored several cyborgs here, that Jigen had ordered to be scrapped, though I don't know his motive. Maybe some ace up his sleeve? Anyway, take me to them. Okay. So, what does that mean for Boro? Was he, like, prepping for his own betrayal of Jigen? Because Boro is dead, so we can't really find out. Maybe the anime could go into some detail there. Like, there's this whole mystery in anime right now about who is the spy in Kara. And being a manga reader, my first instinct is that, oh, it's Amino, because he betrays Kara in the end. But there's also a moment where they're like, Boro doesn't show up for the scan, so maybe he's the spy. And I figured that was just like a fake out. But also, maybe Boro does have his own motives? Possibly? Maybe? We'll see. And Bug just sort of looks at him, kind of panicking, and then says, I have absolutely no intent to defy you, truly, but, are you certain that Boro is dead? If you're lying, I'll... And Code just looks at him, and Bugs kind of freaks out. Alright, but in exchange, you'll pay me, right? And then the two of them arrive in this, like, secret chamber, and Bug tells him, here you go. What in the world are you stirring up, Code? And Code goes up to her chamber, and we see her. She's got this, like, long black hair. I don't really know what's going on with her outfit. She's got, like, the planets and stars on her lower half. But Code just looks at her. Hello, Ada. You who knows everything in this world. Next chapter hits April 20th. That's an interesting line to end on. Who knows everything in this world. Are there going to be some big secrets about to get dropped next chapter? I got no idea. Anyway, the chapter was pretty good. It's very much a kind of like, let's take a minute and just talk through everything that's happened over the past, like, year or so, in real world time. Because it's been a long time, we really had a moment to breathe. Like, from Amado's defection, right up to Jigen versus Koji, which led immediately to Ishiki showing up, to all the Ishiki fight that happened, to Momoshiki, to the escape from the other dimension. It's just been a lot, and it's about time we have a chapter where everyone kind of sits down and just kind of chats. And most of it is very plot-heavy. The two main things are, of course, Boruto and Kawaki, and Naruto, Amado, and Shikamaru all kind of talking about Code in very different ways. Kawaki's like, kill Code. Make Code your vessel, and that way when Momoshiki kills you, you can come back as Code. Which, like, works in the end. Though Boruto has an understandable opposition to the idea of just, like, taking over someone's body. And then, meanwhile, Amado has a much more expository job, as he kind of has to tell Naruto and Shikamaru what the deal is with this guy, who he is, his, like, cyborg status, the existence of these other cyborgs, that are, like, stronger than Jigen, and maybe gonna be used by Code to get revenge for Jigen, or Ishiki. We do get one good fight scene, sort of an intro to Code's powers, specifically this black band that he spreads, and that he can then kind of pop in and out of, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of Minato's flying Raijin, the marked kunai knives, but more static than that, and having a larger range. So yeah, that all is good. I think my favorite part of the chapter is definitely Boruto and Kawaki. As, like, Kawaki wants to help, and Boruto wants him to help, but also, like, he's kind of on the fence about this whole murder thing. Which makes sense, and Kawaki's reaction also makes sense. He is, not had the cushy childhood to kind of be afraid to kill people that Boruto has, but also, he knows Code, and he doesn't really like Code. So he has much less problem with Code in particular dying as well. Also, one thing I do want to point out is, again, the Sumire scene, as she is still kind of clocking Amado a little weirdly. Um, and eventually we're going to figure out that there's something up with Amado. I feel like there's, like, I still can't figure out why, like, what led him to Kara in the first place? You know, how does he know about them? Was he always against them? Did he join Kara as some kind of, did he join as a mole? Or did he eventually decide to betray Jigen at some point down the line? There's a lot about him, and it's tied up with Kawaki, I predict. Maybe he has his own slightly evil plans. I don't know, but Sumire, I think, is going to be a very important key in working that out, as she seems to be the only one who's worked out that something is wrong. We also have a really fun scene just checking in on the other Genin. I like this sort of you know, chill conversation as they sort of complain about their days. It's nice. It's the kind of character building the manga doesn't always get into with these guys. It's normally left to the anime. But it's nice to see it here. But yeah, with all that, we also have Code, who has broken into a Boro cult facility, which again, I kind of think we're going to get a lot more info about Boro soon, as he apparently has a cult. Like, those guards were loyal to Boro in particular. It's not like a cult facility for Jigen run by Boro. It's a cult of Boro. And Boro is a character we know nothing about. So I hope we get some info on him, even though he's, like, very dead. And then, yeah, we see Ada, who knows everything in this world. And that's sort of where we leave off. So, we'll see what all comes of that next time. So, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. You know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!